Hey everyone, it's Angus here. I wanted to make a video just to show you how you might be able to use the RSI, the Relative Strength Index, to look for stocks that might have been oversold in the recent couple of weeks as part of this big market pullback, and also to find stocks that might have been seen as sort of beaten up value stocks that are making a bit of a recovery. So with this sector rotation out of technology stocks, some of your, I guess some of your bigger, older stocks, might be starting to get a bit of love again. So this is just a, bit of TradingView functionality. It's just a way that you might be able to not necessarily trade this way. It's not trading advice, and it's up to you to work out what makes sense for you. But you might just be able to see some of the functionality within TradingView, and think that's kind of cool, and be able to add something similar to your own trading. So when you first open up a chart page, it might look something like this. It might be a candlestick chart. It might have a volume, down below. And so what I want to do is I want to add a couple of things. I want to add a moving average because I want to find stocks where they're breaking back above their 20-day moving average. And I've made a previous video about that. And so I'm going to click on my little indicators and strategies up here. I'm going to type in moving average. There's millions and millions of these different things down here that you can look at. The other one I want to add is an RSI, and so I typically just use the built-in ones. So RSI, I'm going to close that, and so you can see my RSI is now down here below volume, and my moving average is now up here, and you can see this is the 9-day moving average. So that's not bad, but I want to sort of use a 20-day, which is perhaps one that more people look at. So I like to try and use indicators that might be a bit more commonly looked at by others. Try and trade with the herd somewhat. So that's now my 20-day moving average set up. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find stocks that had this nice run up here like this. They've had a pullback. I normally like to see something like a 10 to 20% type pullback. And then they've started to recover, but rather than sort of trying to guess the bottom, because I can never guess the bottom, and don't think anyone probably can, I like to wait for that sort of confirmation that they are heading back up. So you can see that once they've crossed this green line again, now that's a fairly good idea that they're going back up. Again, another massive pullback, sort of being held down, and it's just crossed again. So, Novonix is one that I hold, and today they're doing particularly well. They're running quite nicely at the moment. Not a recommendation to buy, but that's the sort of thing that I like to trade, where they've been going up nice and steadily. They've had a pullback, and they've started to go back up again. So let's try and see if we can find some more of those sort of stocks. Right. Now let's configure this RSI. So I'm going to click on the little cog. And so what I want to try and do is I'm going to turn off a whole bunch of stuff. So I just want the RSI. So all these things here. I'm going to keep the upper band. I'm going to get rid of this background fill here. And I'm going to say I want to set it so that 65 is kind of at the top, and maybe 50 is where I think is at the bottom of my purple bands down here. And so what I kind of think is that if a stock is in this 50 to 65 type range, then there's still value left in it. So I like looking at the RSI to see if there's momentum, because the RSI line is pointing up, and there's still value in it because it's somewhere between this 50 and 65 type mark. Once it gets above 65, certainly above 70, definitely above 80, there's a better chance that it might start to head down. Once it's sort of crossing above this 50 area and pointing up, then there's a good chance that it might run into the 60s and 70s to give you a bit of value, a bit of momentum. So let's click OK. I might, while I'm here, change this to green. I do like green is good, so change that to green. And that's all I do, super simple. So nothing clever. I've just got a price chart. I've got a 20-day moving average, and I've got my RSI here, and I'm looking for stocks that have gone up, crossed below, gone back up. So how do I find them? What I do is open up, and I'm on 1 year. So I open up my stock screener, and I want to look at for stocks that are, you can see that, this is ones that I've looked for on the ASX. There's 26 matches out of roughly 2,000 stocks. And so when you open up yours is going to look probably something like, well, it'll look like this overview, I guess. I want to change my little flag. So this is my markets, and I want to change it to the USA. And I want to go apply. No. So I've now got 12,000 stocks and I'm on the US market. If you wanted to look at stocks that are crossing on like a 4 hour time frame, you just simply change this down here to 4 hours. You can change it to 15 minutes, you can change it to 1 minute, you can change it to whatever you like. But I'm looking at sort of slightly bigger, longer term trades, so I like to have it on the daily. But if you were to say move it to the 4 hour um, time frame, then all these indicators in here start to look at the 4 hour time frame, where it's relevant. So an RSI 14 would all of a sudden be based on a 4 hour as opposed to a daily. And you need to change your chart above so you can see what's happening on the 4 hour. And so that's now a 4 hour chart with a 4 hour filter. So let me go back to daily. But if you're intraday trading or something like that, you might have it set to 15 minutes and start to look for stocks that are doing something interesting within the 15-minute period. So there's 12,487 stocks here, and so I want to start to really filter out the ones that I want to look at. And so what I'm going to do first of all, I'm going to set up my columns and set up my filters. So I want to know what the last price was. I want to know what the change percent was. I don't need to know what the change was. So right-click, delete. I don't really care about the technical rating. Right-click, delete. I don't really care about the volume. I mean, I do, but I want to look at a different type of volume. Get rid of that one. I don't care about market cap. If you're a fundamental trader, you might like PE to look at value. PE is a very good way to, well, it isn't, but it's not a bad way of looking at value to see if a stock's still got value in it. I don't care about the sector, although it's interesting. You can do something where you can say, if you know that the health sector is trending really well at the moment, then you might say, show me only stocks that are in the health sector. So now that I've got down to last and change, I want to add some filters back in. So I'm going to click on this, and I just happen to know some that I want to add. So I'm going to say RSI, and I know that's relative strength index. I want to add in moving average, and I want to find the 20-day moving average. So I've got the exponential ones here. I'll skip past it yet. Simple moving average 20. Sometimes the tick box works the first time you tick it. Sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why. So I can now see I've got the simple moving average. And I want to look at the end. Oh, get rid of that. I want to look at the 12-month performance as well. So I'm going to click on the dots because I want to find stocks that are winners. I want to find stocks that are up and they've just had that bit of a pullback and they might be heading up again. All right, so how am I doing? So I've now got my last price, my change, my RSI, my SMA, and my yearly performance. Oh, and I do want to add in volume. So I'm going to go volume. But I want to add in average volume over 90 days because what I'm looking for is I'm looking for stocks where they're not thinly traded. I want to find stocks that, there's a lot of people other than just me interested in them. So I'm going to say, let's make this 100,000. So my 12,000 goes down to 5,700. So that's just got rid of a whole bunch of stocks. The other thing I want to do is I want to get rid of some of the penny type stocks. I'm actually going to go exchange. And you can do this for any, this same filter will work with crypto, it'll work with Australian stocks, Spanish stocks, Chinese stocks. It doesn't matter what market you want to trade. You just simply click on the flag, and you can hold down your control key, and you can multi-select. So if you can trade multiple markets, then see it's got a multi-select button up here. It might be a premium or paid function, but you can certainly trade. You can certainly screen multiple markets now for multiple stocks. So anyway, so exchange, I want to get rid of the OTC stocks. So I'm going to say New York, NASDAQ, and New York Stock Exchange, and don't select OTCs. And so now I'm down to 5,302. Right, so I've got my SMA 20, my yearly performance. I'm going to say only show me stocks that are above, let's say 50% for the year. So we know that they've had they're in an overall uptrend for the year. So that takes me down to 603. And so I'm going to sort by yearly performance. And so some of these ones are, crazy. You'll never, I don't know why they've gapped up at the start somewhere. They've done something nutty, who knows. I don't know what's going on there. It's saying that it's up 5,000, 5,500%. It's obviously not. I shall ask TradingView. So you can see this one here has just done some massive gap up. So, again, not relevant for us. Right, here's one. So I know these guys. So Destination Excel. And so you can see here, so this is a stock that's up 1,800% over the last 12 months. You can see he's got that typical pattern. He's going up nicely, up nicely, up nicely. He's had a big, deep pullback. I tend to look for stocks that have had a 10 to 15% type pullback, because I really want to find those ones that have had a big drop and might be at a much better value area. So his drop's been roughly 40%, so that's a big drop. And so what I'm waiting for him to do is I want him to turn around and start to go back up by his 20-day moving average, because I'm really waiting for that confirmation. I'm wanting to see that, he's sort of had a hiccup, he's gone down, then he's gone back up, he's had a hiccup, he's going down. And at this point here, it's too early for me to be confident. See how his RSI is pointing downwards? I like it when the RSI is pointing upwards. I like it when he's above his 20-day moving average. So I've got 603 stocks to go through. I don't want to go through 603 stocks. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do two things. I'm going to say, show me stocks where the simple moving average, which is this indicator here, is below the last price. So what I'm saying is I want to see where price is above the green line. So this being the green line, I want to see the green line below the last price. And last simply means the most recent price. So I'm going to click last. And so I've now got a different list, so Rosehill Acquisitions, a crazy one that's, gapped up and done whatever he's done, whether he's been bought or, it's a new company, who knows. Hertz now makes the Hertz is now in there. But so see how Hertz is pretty flat at the moment, and its RSI is 51. And so it's not bad, but I don't sort of look at this and think, wow, that's very clearly an uptrend. He had a really good volume day, but his price didn't move much. So, Hertz is not one that I would sit here and I'd look at and go, that's a stock that I, desperately want to be in. I'm looking for that sort of nice steady left to right with a bit of a pullback. VTNR, same deal. It was going quite well, had a big pullback, so it's going down now. So not one that I'm overly interested in. Sava's a bit the same. It's had this sort of big rise up here. You can see all this stuff as I've obviously been looking at it before. In fact, you can see I've probably posted an idea about it here. So see how here it's broken back up its 20-day moving average. And I've posted an idea about, what I think might happen with it. So, that was just more playing with another Bollinger Brand breakout indicator that I found. AMR. So this is a good example. So see how nice and steady, big pullback, crossed above his 20-day moving average, and he was starting to head back up again. And so that's a stock that's not too bad, but see how his RSI is now 69. So for me, that's a bit expensive. Like, I'm really looking for the stocks where, they might be close to that 50 mark and heading up. So I want to try and capture it around here. And so you can see when I hover over this mark here where he's, broken above, see how on the left-hand side over here, if you watch this number just here, that 55, 73, see when I move and he's crossed over here, so see how that number there is now 46. When it's crossed over again here, see that number is now 52. So I'm looking for when it's closer to that sort of bottom end as opposed to right at the top. So in order to find that, let's now do a filter on the RSI. So let's say only show me the RSIs with the values, let's say below 55. I'm down to 95 stocks. And let's filter it further by saying show me stocks that went up at least 1%. So I'm now down to 30 stocks. So I've suddenly got, I'm having 12,000 stocks that I have to look at. So all of a sudden I've now only got, 30, which I can easily do. And don't forget, this is just today. So if you run this same search tomorrow, you might find another 30 different stocks tomorrow. And you can filter it down further. You can say, well, only show me stocks where they're up, say, 100%. And so I'm down to 13. And so you can see very quickly how you can start to play with some of these filters and then start to flick through the stocks. So this one here, Lucid, so I think that that looks okay. One of the EV stocks, that whole market's so dominated by Tesla, you've got to kind of watch what happens with Tesla to see if you can, guess what's going to happen with the individual stocks. But, it's looking good at the moment. So I'm going to create a new watch list, create a new list. I'm going to say USA stocks to watch. Call it a USA watch list just to make it shorter. Save. So I might say, let's add him. I kind of want to wait just to see what happens over the next couple of days, because even though he's broken up, broken above his, 20-day moving average here, he's in this sort of resistance area. So if I, use my favorite tools, and, there's another video on how you add all these to this little toolbar. If I sort of say, well, if I draw a line, roughly across here, And, you can see that he's actually only trading within this range here. So, if he bounces off that, you can almost be sure he'll come back pretty close to this bottom line. And so that would be, what's that? Roughly 15%. So, you'll want to make sure that he's going to break through and go up, not all of a sudden bounce and come back down 15%. So he's a bit early, so you want to leave him and see how he goes. If you don't want to sit here and watch your watch list every day, best thing I can recommend is start to use alerts. So all I can do is might say, well, that was his high there, that little end of that candle wick. If I zoom in even more, that's just me holding down the control key and then moving this around. So I can say, well, his high was 43.31, roughly at the top of that. And so I can say, well, if he gets to 43 at alert, let's say 43, I don't know, 50. Send me an email. And so you can say, send me an email, send me a app message, pop-up message. But I'm going to say, Lucid might be trending up again. Then I just get a link in my email that says, this is one that you've identified at some stage. Go and have a look at him. I click on the little clock symbol here, so you can see here, LCID. So that's my alert there, and I can go and I can edit it, I can change it, I can delete it, I can do a whole bunch of things. But so that's one that I might want to look at. So to get back to normal, I double click on that. I click on 1 year, double click. So that's an example of a stock that was doing really well. It's had a big pullback, and it's back above that 20-day moving average. But it might be a bit too early on him. Let's have a look at METC. So again, he's been going up nice and steadily. He's had a bit of a pullback. He's been traveling sideways. He was recovering, but the whole market's sort of taking a bit of a dip here, so he's coming back down. But again, he might be one that I want to add, so I might hit a little Alt W, and if he goes up over the next couple of days, see how his RSI is pointing up. But he hasn't got much volume. I'd like to see the average volume starting to get closer to that red line. I think it's a 30-day line. It's either 30 or 14. It's a volume 14, so that's his 2-week volume. Let me change it to 30 and see what happens. 30 days. So, his volume is a little bit light on. He went up, but there wasn't a lot of demand. So he's one that I'd watch though. Uroi is uranium. Uranium's been going gangbusters lately, but if I go 1 year, so you can see, same deal, went up quite well. He's been up 237%. That's to that point, not let alone up here. And you can see again, he's starting to maybe move back above his moving average. So again, I'll add him to the list, which is all I'm doing to add them to the list. I'm hitting Alt W. ATLC. I don't really know what he does, so all I'll do is I'll scroll down here, and I can see his financials are pretty good. He's having a pretty good run. His revenue's up, his profits up, his net income's up. So this is one that I like the look of. Financial holding company, provision of financial technology related services through credit and other investments, blah, blah, blah. So I hit Alt W. And so what I could do is I could buy him, and I put my stop loss, somewhere around that, I don't know, $63 mark. And if he went up to say that level there, that's a 4% gain. If he went up to that level there, that's a 7% gain. And you could think that might be, not unrealistic to get back to at least there. And then if I said, well, what happens if he gets all the way up to there? Then that's a 30% gain. So, I like that he's he's a stock that's had a good run. He's had a pullback. He's had another little pullback with the market, but his financials look pretty good. So that's one that I'd definitely have a close look at. But you just have to wait, be patient, and wait to make sure he goes back up. Let's have a look at other ones. Breakwave. So a little bit spotty. It's an ETF, I think. It might not be an ETF, but no, it is an ETF. Salem, not particularly excited by Salem. This one, again, it's had a big move up. It's come back down. It hasn't really started to show signs of recovery here yet. But what I might do is I'll put an alert here. I'll go right click, add alert, and say if it breaks above that, send me an alert. Go create. So, I hope that's a useful sort of exercise. So without going through too many of these, you can see very easily, you can start to identify some of these stocks where they might have had that big 30 to 40% type pullback, and they look like they might be turning things around. So if you can apply any of that to your own trading, I wish you the best. Thanks for listening.